and welcome to our today's English lesson. It has been long without a video, so I've said it twice today. As I'm going to not introduce generally but revise the 5 main parts we have in our composition writing. I felt it wise to do it through this video to help you to write a better and indeed a good composition from the one you've been writing. So to begin with, today is 28th of September, and as you can see, time is moving. You can hear that you have heard over the news that we are soon resuming our learning. And when we are soon resuming our learning, you have heard that we are going to begin from second term. And then next year, early next year, we begin third term, and then we do our examination around April. So that gives us minimal time to revise our work, whatever we have been doing, to make us well equipped to be able to handle examination without fear. So I would like to encourage you, learner, that you be very, very busy ahead of the school opening. And then during our school time, because the time is very minimal and short, we need to work very hard to enable us to pass this examination with flying colors. So to begin with, learner, as I told you, that among these 5 parts we have in composition writing, the first main part number 1, is the introduction. The introduction of our composition. So what we need to know, we know all of us that we have that introductory part, but exactly what do you think is the main what? What do we need to involve in the introductory part of our composition? And that is what we're going to look at. So number 1, learner, in the introductory part, we need to involve what was the character doing. So we have the main character and we have other characters in our composition writing. So we need to know that what we need to know in that first part. Automatically, this one is called a plan, a composition plan, a plan of our composition. What was the main character? You need to ask yourself that question. The main character. What was the characters? A total of characters. What was the character doing? On top of that the main character doing. What was the main at that beginning of the composition? At that beginning of the story. Your story will not be effective when we have not outlined what the character was doing at the beginning. That's why most of you used to normally write a composition beginning with I woke up at the crack of dawn, went to the bathroom, took a cold shower, took my breakfast quickly, and rushed the bus stop. You have already told us what you did that early in the morning. So a story will not be a story without you telling us what happened at the beginning of the story, what the main character or most main characters did that beginning of the story. Then how was he feeling? Describe for us the feelings, learner. The feelings of the what? Of the character at the beginning of the story. All the things you are writing is at the beginning. At that time. We'll talk about that time. Describe the feelings of the person at that time at the beginning of the story. And then, what could he or he be saying? There are certain things you can say by him. Like you can say what was, or what could he or she be saying? They can either be thoughts, something he or she thinks. You can always quote them, and then what he may be saying to another person directly, And then, where did the story take place? It's called the setting. Where did the story take place? All these have been done in the introductory part, and this one normally called the setting. The setting of the composition is the place that all these things are taking place. The exact place where things are taking place is the setting of the what? Of the composition. So describe. Here, Lana, we need to describe it well. Describe the setting. In case you went to somebody's house, Lana, that morning, tell us, was it a leafy suburb? That is a well-built house. How was the house? Describe. If it was somebody's vehicle, how was that vehicle? Describe that setting well. Make us know to feel how the place really looked like. Not just telling us, I went to their home. How was the home like? I went to my father's bedroom. Yes, describe that bedroom. Describe any place well in your composition. So now this one is going to be our introductory part. And then our second part of the composition is the body. Part 2 is the body. Lana, the body, just to make you laugh a bit. This one is like a meal. This one is like a meal. We have vegetable. We have meat. And we have, let's talk of beef in this manner. We have beef. And then we also have ugali. So you are served with such, and then you can see all this on the table, and then the person has not given you this. The person has denied you the beef and has given you vegetable and ugali. Lana, how can you feel that you are still seeing it on the table? You automatically feel bad. Why? Because the meat, without the beef here, is the main part of this particular meal. That is the main part. And if you deny vegetable and given me a beef and ugali, you just feel comfortable. But without the beef, you still want that beef. You still want it. So the body in our composition here, Lana, the body is like the meat. This one is the meat of our composition. Without it, the introduction and the conclusion will be just like ugali and the vegetable. But without the body, a well-built body, a well-made beef given to you, that meal is not complete. That's why I'm saying that the body is like the meat. The most important. So this one is the most important part. This is the most important part of our composition. And it also contains 3 things that we're going to look. Roman 1, we're going to give them Roman numbers, or you can give them A, B, C, D. So A, we're going to have, you have the 3 parts of the body. Racing action. We have racing action. So racing action is going to be part 1. I'm going to ask yourself now, what is racing action? As I've mentioned it. Racing action, Lana, here, to come down a bit, this is the events leading to a problem. Events leading to a problem. Meaning you have not come to the problem already, but there are events that are leading to a problem. Let's talk about a very simple issue. We have academic day in our school. Like at that time, remember last year, by the end of the year, we normally crown our year in school year by Claret Day. So during Claret Day, assume, because we normally have many ceremonies going on, we have prize giving day, we have celebrating generally the year with parents, we have AGM maybe that day, so we have mass, there are a lot of activities going on. So assume that maybe you are position 1, meaning you are expecting to be awarded. So when you raise action in that part of the composition, how you woke up, here you tell us how you woke up that day, you prepared yourself, and etc. Then coming to the raising action, you tell us maybe you now reach school, and when you reach school, maybe you arrived late. So So that is an event leading to a problem in the first place. Arriving late is a number one. So these are events leading to a problem. Events leading to a problem. Events leading to a problem. And in this case, I've just mentioned one. You arrive late. Maybe you go to school by bus. That day you go to take up the bus has gone. The bus has left you. So you have to go back home, look for fare, come back, look for a matatu by the roadside. Getting matatu, the matatu is involved in a road accident. Luckily you are not injured. You go to school late when the occasion has already begun. You are punished by the teacher. All those are events leading to a problem. They are events leading to a problem. Finally, the problem may occur now when you arrive in school. So, tracing action there, events leading to the problem, as I have mentioned, these are events leading to the problem. You mentioned them there. And then coming to B is the climax. This is the climax of our composition. And the climax now, the conflicts, you bring in the conflicts now. Link to a problem or conflict. And here now, you bring the problems or conflicts. You now bring the problems. Now bring in the problems stroke conflicts. You bring them in very well. So these ones are the events leading to the problems. Here now bring in the what? The main problems now coming in there. And here Lana, there's a turning point, the turning point of the story. The turning point of the story. The reader should see, Lana. The reader can be myself, can be any person who reads your work, can be the examiners who will mark your work, your KCPE examination. So this climax should show the turning point. The story was going this way. There was no any problem. You raised the events that lead to the problem there. Still, you don't see the problem coming out or a conflict. But as soon as you show a turning point, Lana, you already diverted the story again. The story is now taking place, is now moving to many problems, many problems. And these problems are with the main character. Involve the main character. Very important. Involve the main character in as many challenges, stroke, you can call them challenges, you can call them problems, and you can also call them conflicts. As many conflicts as possible. Involve, Lana, bring as many conflicts as possible. Bring as many conflicts as many as possible. I just began by you leaving home, arriving late to school because of the many challenges you had on traveling. Reaching home, the teacher has punished you thoroughly. So when the teacher has punished you, Lana, how did you try to solve these problems? When a teacher punishes you, Lana, how can you try? Maybe before he punishes, you must try to, there's a problem by you arriving late, there's already a problem there. After arriving late, did you try to defend yourself? No one, you try to defend yourself, stating the reasons why you are late. You are trying to solve that problem. And as you try to solve the problem, did you call another teacher or your parent in solving the problems? The problems you had on the way, like the matatu maybe had a puncture, how did you solve? Maybe you took another matatu, you solved that. Finally, after the punishment, what happened? Maybe when the teacher was delivering the punishment, maybe something bad happened. Maybe you fainted. Then you are rushed to the hospital for first aid. Something like that. So you involve the main character in as many problems as possible during this particular climax. So this is the peak. the peak of the story. Remember the peak of the mountain. When you go up to the peak of the mountain, this one is the peak. You began down here. You have gone. This is the peak now. The climax is like the peak of the composition. Then you changes take place here. We see changes taking place here, as I was saying. The challenges when you bring them, we see changes coming. Very many changes are coming up in that particular story. Then describe characters' actions, emotions. I've always mentioned that. Describe characters, actions, and emotions. Describe those emotions well. How the characters was feeling in every step. Then involve the main character is as many people as possible. I've mentioned that. Then bring a turning point. Bring a turning point. And I'm still describing this issue of turning point. Turning point is just when people expect you to go this way, but you turn. You bring another new thing all of a sudden in your story. And then lastly, part C, Lana. Let me write it here. Part C becomes the resolution. See, we have the resolution. Resolution meaning, Lana, is just how you bring the resolution of the many problems. So this is called the falling point. The falling point. I drew our mountain. Let me do it well for you to see. Our mountain looked like this. This is a very steep mountain. So you began the introductory part here. Introduction was here. Then you have gone to the composition, up to the raising action. Raising action is there. The climax has gone. This is the climax. The climax is there. And then we are now going to the resolution, where this now is the falling point. The composition now falls. Meaning we are trying to get the resolutions of those many problems that involve the main character in. Bring them in. Solutions of the problem. These ones are the what? The solutions. Solutions of the problem. Of the problems. Of the many problems that involve the character in. So here we have mentioned that what could the main character do to solve? We are trying to answer those questions. What could the main character do? So one, that's a saying, what could the main character do to solve the problems? In Kiswahili we say, yeye mwenyewe amejaribu kufanya nini kusuluhisha yale tatizo ambazo ako nazo. What has he done himself to help him to solve those problems, those challenges, those conflicts, before involving another person to try help him? We can talk of a fire in a fire accident. Did you try even to put out the fire yourself? And what else did you do? Did you call the neighbors to come and assist? And if you are still not able, now you go ahead to call somebody called a superhero. Superheroes can be many. In a fire accident, superhero can be the fire brigade, the firemen. In case of a robbery attack, the involved superhero can be the police officers. After you trying to solve the problem. So then I've just said that what could the main character do to solve the problem? Then how did he feel? Feelings, yeah, feelings when attempting solution. What are the feelings? And then lastly, we say that bring in a superhero. Bring in a superhero. Superhero here is a terminology there, but this is somebody who You can have firemen, i.e. in a fire accident you can have firemen. In case of robbery attack you can have the police. You can have teachers. In issues of school you can have a teacher, can be a superhero who brings a solution. You can have parents. You can have parents come and nyumbani, if you're at home you can have parents, etc. to solve the what? The problem. So now remember we are still on the body. The body contains raising action where you bring as events leading to the problems, then bring the problems here, then try to bring the solutions of the what? Of the problems. Remember that? And then our part 3, and that is the last part. Our part 3 is now going to be the conclusion of our composition. Part 3 is the conclusion of our composition. And in the conclusion, learner, this one is the most tricky part. And we should tie up all the loose ends to bring the story to a close. You should try to tie all the loose ends to bring the story to a halt. Try to tie all the loose ends to bring the story to a close or a halt. To a close. What do you mean by the loose ends? All these parts were loose ends. Story ending, there's a problem, there's a solution. But how do you ever to bring all those loose ends to the end of everything? So it is vital that we give readers a satisfactory ending and not leaving them hanging. We should try to bring a satisfactory end of a composition. Note that one that makes the readers be hanging. Avoid making somebody, don't leave readers like me at a suspense where we don't know how the story has ended well. So in this case, learner, in this case, you can write characters' reflections and thoughts about what had happened. You can bring the characters' reflections and thoughts. You can bring out the characters' reflections and thoughts. About what had happened. Or you can bring the character's feelings about what had happened, or character's concluding actions or decisions for the future actions. Lana, maybe not if I don't write that, but you can also try to predict the future. Like as I normally say, the memories of this fateful day will linger in my head like the crucifix on an archbishop's neck. Those are not the future. This thing will linger in your head. I got a lesson never to trust anyone. I decided never to trust anybody in the future. So those ones are the predictions of the future. By doing that, Lana, you shall have described, and you are now for predicting what will happen in the future. So I've just mentioned that you can restate the topic, and always remember never to get out of the what? Never to get out of the topic. Remain within the topic until the last moment. And lastly, as I summarize, Lana, remember what we said in some of our lessons, the past lessons. We said that we should capture captate in our learning. Where 600 was for characters, actions, places, time, emotions, and the theme. So when we're learning, when you are really in my lesson that I've delivered here, we should describe the characters well. Describe the actions. Describe the characters. Describe the action. Describe the places. Describe the time. Describe the emotions. Describe the what? The theme properly. And then ensure that you bring in conflict and its resolution. So in case you've been with me explaining about this, then you can't forget, we can't get this one hard. Bring this plan to make it like a good composition, because we still have the same thing here. But this one now, it details because we have given the five main parts of our of our composition development, where we have mentioned the number one being the introduction part of our composition. Number two is the body, and the body, number one, we mentioned about very quickly about raising action. The body contains raising action. Then two, we have the climax, and then finally resolution. Then finally number three becomes the conclusion part of the episode. So these ones are the main five parts. You can count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the conclusion number 5. So now when you follow that, you'll write a very, very beautiful composition, and one for me to mark today. So with me here is a small work here that I want to give you. I'm not giving it anywhere except here. I'm just going to write it here. Small composition here about beginning of a composition. I could hear the wailing. I could hear the wailing of sirens, or full stop. It was deep in the middle of the night. So now I'm going to do this. Read this rubric well. This one's called a rubric. I could hear the wailing of sirens. It was deep in the middle of the night. Lana, this one can be anything. Look at the cow that and get the setting. Where was this thing taking place? And then write a very good composition following whatever I've given. In case I read your composition and don't see you bringing anything as in connection to whatever I've given now, I'll consider it null and void. So let's try to write a better thing. Practice, take your time, listen to whatever I've given, and then do your work better. Until next time, I wish you well, remain very busy, and stay safe.